And when you finally get to that point, when you master yourself and you finally get yourself in that position where you know exactly why you're doing something, when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it, and defeat ain't even part of the equation. Like, you know that you're going to be successful. Once you finally reach that peak performance level, you're dialed in. There's nothing taking you out of that. No one can convince you that you aren't exactly where you're supposed to be at.
When it comes to legalized bank robbing, I'm the best.
I'm going long in this breaker here. I'll take that. Going long in the order block. Make sure to take a partial here. It's almost like it's random. Stop above the balanced price range. That's a breakaway gap. This fair value gap should stay open. It's a breakaway gap. This is a breakaway gap, but this fair value gap here will take us higher. And thank you very much. Just like clockwork.
All right. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Another trading week is among us. Let's do this thing. Let's go. Let's go. Virgo trader, what's going on? Joseph, Butch, Tanikas, Leon, if I'm saying that right. Milan. What's up, Fatima? Alif, Sparky, Albert, Forex Family, YD. Who else we got in here? Sandy, Omar, Adassa, Matt, Richie. Let's do this thing, man. Happy Monday. Christmas is around the corner. I'm in the holiday spirit and feeling good. So we're going to have a little bit of fun today. Tape reading. NASDAQ just made some new all-time highs, as you can see. And we're going to walk through this thing. Okay, obviously, I'm bullish on the day. Don't try to predict tops and all-time high conditions unless the market structure is telling you otherwise. So bullish on the day. We're just going to see how high NASDAQ wants to go. Now, we do have high impact news at 9:45. What is that? Flash manufacturing PMI. So that should bring some volatility, and we'll see what the market does with that. We're going to sit tight for just a few minutes, let everybody get in here, and then we'll drop down to a lower time frame and see what we're working with. It's going to be fun. If you don't follow me on Twitter, make sure you follow me there. I just shared the model that I'll be using all of 2025, its rules, examples, and whatnot. All of that shared on Twitter. So if you're not following me on there, you're missing out. I post a lot of other stuff. Market reviews. If you notice, I haven't posted any market reviews on YouTube in a while. It's because I've been sharing them on Twitter only. So definitely want to go check that out. And in the chat room, I just sent the tweet that describes my model and examples. It's a whole thread, so make sure you look through it. And it's pretty much what I've already been using, but a lot of people ask, what's your model? How do you trade and whatnot? For the most part, I just trade price action. I trade any PD array, doesn't really matter. I target a lot of different things. I don't have a fixed risk to reward. But people wanted a more descriptive, rule-based sort of model. So I just shared that on Twitter over the weekend. And make sure to go check that out. It's about 8:37. We did have medium impact news at 8:30. I believe it was medium impact. Yeah. Medium impact news at 8:30. I don't really care about that much. Main news driver I'm focused on is our one at 9:35, 5 minutes after the open, or 9:45, 15 minutes after the opening bell. So that should provide a nice means for a silver bullet setup after 10 o'clock. If this is your first stream here, glad to have you here. We're going to have a little bit of fun. If you're not in the Discord already, we have the best trading Discord in the community. I don't care what anybody says, it's the best. Okay, if you want to see me trade live and whatnot, webinars, homework assignments, all other ICT resources, educational stuff, it's really good. So make sure you click the link in the chat room, pinned in the chat, or the link pinned in the top of the description of the live stream. It'll serve you well, I promise. What defines the best? The people in the Discord who say it's the best. they vouch for me. It's the best community, and it's not toxic. That's what makes it the best. Let's do this. Let's drop down. So we've worked our new day opening gap. If you remember, we had that large new day opening gap that we were targeting on Friday. We talked about this in the webinar over the weekend. So repricing in to consequent encroachment, rally up, taking out the sell side, still leaving the lower half of this new day opening gap open. Okay, that's bullish. Same thing with this inefficiency here. If we zoom out, breakaway gap, that's still staying open. That's signs of bullishness. This fair value gap respecting midpoint. So take the low, take the high, consequent encroachment, bang. Consequent encroachment of the new day opening gap, unwilling to trade even to the lower quadrant, rally up, fair value gap, trade down into it, down close candle, bullish order block, trading into it, rally up, fair value gap, trade into it, all-time highs. So that is the lay of the land over the past couple of days. Let's clear all of this off. And let's slap on some opening prices. Midnight. And 15-minute chart for our 8:30 price level, which comes in right there. $8.30. So, okay, obviously I don't try to predict tops. So as long as NASDAQ doesn't have a clean market structure shift to the downside with displacement, I'm keeping a bullish bias. Okay, you don't want to try to short all-time highs if it's not there. You can short when NASDAQ is trading at all-time highs, but the market structure has to give you a reason to do so, or use the factor of time, something like the London close macro, the lunch retracement, something of that sort, but don't want to just go in here and start shorting. Let's drop down to the 5-minute chart. 15-minute first. Looks like we're likely to form a fair value gap here on a 15-minute basis. 5-minute breakaway gap. We have a lot of little inefficiencies here. Whenever I see that, I'll jump up a time frame like the 10-minute chart, and it's just one fair value gap, so it's a little cleaner. Let's go ahead and outline that. If we're bullish, majority of this inefficiency down here should stay open, but I'm watching this upper one here on the 10-minute chart. Price is fractal, so you can use a 9-minute chart, 10-minute chart, 7-minute chart, it doesn't matter. Whichever is cleaner, that's the one I'm gonna opt for. All right, so we have our 10-minute fair value gap. Let's label that so we remember when we drop down. Back to the 5-minute chart. Let's go down to the 1-minute. And now we wait. Let's do that. So inside this 10-minute BISI, I'm watching this fair value gap here. Small little inefficiency. And then we have a down close candle, bullish order block. Now again, I don't try to predict the highs. We form relative equal highs, so I'm not convinced our job is done going higher. I don't like seeing the market top like this, so I would like to run that again. And I'm watching the order block. In this fair value gap, I'm really drawing it, or looking at it rather, from this candle's close all the way to this candle's high. Because we have volume imbalances in here, we have gaps, this small little doji candle. I'm just including all of that in the fair value gap. And I'm watching to see if there's any support here. Does it send us higher? Do we trade down to the lower half of that 10-minute fair value gap? Do we respect the order block? Because I'm looking for a minor buy side above these highs. This is too clean in my opinion still. Show us your curve in TradeZilla. Why are you typing in all caps? It's too early in the morning for all that. You think we're gonna reach 22,000 before being bearish? 22,000, where's that at? I mean, it's possible. As long as NASDAQ looks, I mean, daily chart, clearly bearish, weekly chart, I'm expecting higher prices. 22,000, I think that's possible. But again, we're trading at all-time highs, so the only way to really kind of forecast how high NASDAQ wants to go is just standard fib projections, swing projections, and just taking the buy setups when they present themselves. Tier 1 and Tier 2 models, I shared that on the on Twitter. So if you don't follow me on Twitter, definitely want to go check that out. The link to that's in the description. What I classify as a Tier 1 model, Tier 2 model is something I came up with. Tremaine's model, obviously I named it Tremaine's model because it's the model I'll personally be using next year. So that's why I titled it that. And as far as the setups, Tier 1, Tier 2, it just involves the opening prices and where the setup forms. So all that's explained on Twitter, okay, in my most recent post is there. So let's label this. So NASDAQ traded down into that 10-minute fair value gap, working the order block here with this inefficiency. And again, I'm looking for the minor buy side above this high. We're approaching that 9 a.m. macro from 8:50 to 9:10. That usually gives a nice setup pre-market. Okay, every time I come out here and do a stream on Monday, and I forgot to put the handy dandy disclaimer. Where's that? There we go. I know somebody's going to ask, what trade did you take today? Where this fair value gap, I'm not going to outline it. I don't want my charts that colored, but again, minor buy side above this high. And should we take out this high, I'll be looking at these two up close candles here as one bullish breaker because you have your low, high, lower low. Should we take out the high? These are too smooth. So everybody who tries to predict the highs in the market and short early, this is when they always get smoked. They get punished for trying to shorten this because there's always somebody trying to predict the tops and short. Retail sees this as resistance, a double top, and it just gets ran right through. NASDAQ makes higher all-time highs. Show us your curve in TradeZilla. I canceled my TradeZilla thing when I found out that you can mess with the statements. Like you can take off trading days, you can play with the stats and all that. Once I realized you can do that, I deleted it because in my opinion it's not that trustworthy. I thought it was more reliable, and I thought it was a more trustworthy thing, but it's as trustworthy as what's that other thing? What is it? FX something. What's the other track record thing? It escapes me. Somebody knows. What is it? I don't think it works for futures because I tried it. My FX book. Like those two things have been proven that they can be altered and played with, so I stay away from it. So we had an institutional order flow entry drill, and we had a propulsion block. Okay, 2 down close candles. That's one order block. Trading down inside of a primary order block. So this is down close candle, was your order block. Down close candles trading inside of that makes this, it's an order block, yes, but its classification is a propulsion block. Sends it higher, and then your institutional order flow entry drill inside of this fair value gap. staying in the upper half of what that 10-minute fair value gap. Open, tap consequent encroachment if we're bullish. You don't want to see this fair value gap traded to if you're bullish. But I said we could work in this one here, and we're working in the upper half. So price is giving all the bullish signatures that I like to look for. And in the upper half of this 10-minute fair value gap that we want to see support price, drop down to the 1 minute, that inefficiency with the order block hits it perfectly. And now we formed a triple top, which is going to get ran through likely. Do you think, I see a lot of people asking, are you looking for shorts? Do you think the market can give us shorts? We're trading at all-time highs. I'm not looking for shorts. I'm expecting higher prices until NASDAQ shows otherwise. So we're in that 850 to 910 macro, expecting movement. These highs up here, just way too smooth, way too clean. I'll be expecting that to get ran out shortly. Who is this dude talking in all caps? Why is he yelling? Somebody get this man a bowl of Lucky Charms or something. It's too early in the morning to be doing all this. Monkif? I don't know how to say your name. Trading back down inside the fair value gap. So aggressive. I never understand people who type in all caps. They're just so like, why are you yelling? Why are you yelling in the chat? We cannot hear you. Whether you type in all caps or whether you type in lowercase, we can still read your message. There's no reason to. It is really something I don't understand. Yeah, go and get him some Fruit Loops or something. Watching this inefficiency. And then your macro, 850 to 910. So trading down to about consequent encroachment. I'm going to clear off. Let's take this off. Let me see. 21,908. There you go. My trading view looks slightly different on the same time frame. You're probably looking at either the micro or you're not on the December contract. Yeah, micro's gonna be a little different. I already have my micro contract marked up for tomorrow's stream, only in Discord, obviously. Previous days, highs and lows for the last 3 days. Previous weeks, highs and lows for the last 3 weeks. I already have those levels on my chart. Look to make some money tomorrow. Love my micros. Love it. when I get to the point where I could trade two, when I could trade two minis on my live account, then I'll ditch the micros, and then I'll do two minis, use one for a partial, and then use the other mini contract for a terminus target. I could trade two minis, but it has to be like Asia or the PM session when the volatility is less. But in the morning session, I can only trade one mini contract, and I like to take partials, so. I don't have a funded account. I trade personal funds with the regulated broker. So we're back down inside of that BISI, that 10-minute fair value gap. Why not use 20 micros? I can't. 20 micros is pretty much the same as two mini contracts. And then you remember, this is not prop firm money, so like you have to pay commissions. 20 micros, you're paying commissions on all of that. Each micro contract, you have to pay full round trip commissions for opening the trade and closing the trade. You have to pay commissions for both of that for each contract. There's not a lot of commissions, but I mean, you have to keep that stuff in check because it is a cost. It's an expense. Would this be the last week to be trading? I'm still going. I told the Discord that last week was going to be my last trading week, but the price action as of late has been really good. Had green days every day the last week. And so I'm still going. I'm still trading. I'm not sure if I'll stop. I'll probably only stop on like Christmas Eve, the day of Christmas, day after Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day. I probably won't stream, but other than that, I'm still going. And that might take like 2 days off before the mentorship starts next year. My mentorship starts. So I can get ready for that. So just working this fair value gap. Again, we're in that 9 o'clock macro, so I am expecting some sort of spooling. Market to start leaving this little range between this high and this low. We've been trading inside of that. But we're in that 20-minute window, and we have a triple top here. I like the idea of people shorting at all-time highs, seeing this as resistance. I like for us to blast through that. Okay, rarely do markets top with a triple bottom. So still looking for higher prices. See you, Tim. When we're trading at all-time highs, I'm not looking at any bearish breaker. I'm not looking at any bearish PD array. The last thing you want to do is try to predict the high. I'm definitely not looking for anything bearish when we have a triple top resting above us. You're asking to get smoked. I was thinking about joining Discord, but if you're going off, then what's the point? Nah, I'm still trading. But the Discord is not just live trading. Like, there's webinars, there's homework, there's a whole bunch of other resources in there other than just me pressing the button in front of everybody. But no, I'm still trading. Still trading. Speaking of that, I gotta withdraw my profits from last week. Need that grocery money. New all-time highs, triple top buy side in the crosshairs. Have about 30 minutes to the open. Got about 45 minutes or so until our high impact news driver. Again, remember, we do have that PMI. I'm watching this small little fair value gap, treating that as a reclaim fair value gap. I want to see that offer support. I'm wanting to see this fair value gap stay open until we take out the buy side. So I don't want to see this traded too. I like for us to work higher from here. Tag out the buy side. Now we have a beautiful quadruple top, which is just way too smooth. Love what's going on in the USA. I don't know what's going on in New Jersey. They got some stuff going on. So NASDAQ still hasn't taken out the buy side. Again, I don't think the work's done. Obviously, I don't want to see this stay in place. It's just way too clean, way too smooth. We're in that fair value gap. I preferred not to see traded to. It's no big deal that we traded into it, but ideally, if it's really bullish, I wanted to see that stay open. But regardless, my focus is still the buy side. Yes, we have high impact news in 45 minutes. Still in the macro. Just range bound consolidation, but the bias is still bullish for me. How do you stay disciplined if you're in a losing streak? You just keep trading. Keep trading and manage your risk. Keep your risk minimal. Limit your trade frequency. Don't be taking 30 trades a day, 10 trades a day, 5 trades a day. Take 1 or 2 trades a day and wrap it up. And just keep doing what you're doing. I'm just coming off a losing streak. I had a great week last week, but before then, pretty much the last quarter of the year has been rough. But had a nice little winning week. Green days all throughout the week. A lot of wins on stream. And I didn't change anything. I didn't tinker with anything. You just keep doing what you're doing. Manage your risk. Take your setups. Don't go on tilt. Like losses, it's part of the game. Like losses don't mean anything unless you're over leveraged or you just can't stop trading. Is your Discord a live video feed? No, it's live. The live trading streams in Discord is just like what you're seeing here on YouTube, except I'll actually be pushing the buttons. So it's live video. I'll be talking pretty much. I know a lot of people are new here, but if you go on my YouTube channel and you look at my trade executions, 90% of those were taken on stream. So when you watch my trades, when I'm talking through it, explaining my stop, it's video feed. So you'll see all my entries, you'll see my exits, you'll see my stop loss placement real time and all that whatnot. In London session, can I take longs below midnight? Yes, you can. How come you're bullish at all-time highs? Because there's nothing in the price that says go short. If we're trading at all-time highs, your bias is bullish. You don't try to get cute. You don't try to get fancy. You don't try to be a hero and predict the top. You take long setups or you stick with your bullish bias until NASDAQ shows you otherwise. You don't try to tinker with it. You don't try to force your will and look for shorts if it's not there. Your model is basically targeting midnight open. How would you be trading in today's market? I'll be looking for shorts. If I don't get shorts, if the long setup is there and we're above the midnight open, I'll still give myself permission to trade it, but I have to use half risk. But if we're just trending higher away from the midnight opening price, then I'm doing nothing. That's it. Yes, I look at SMT. I have my monitor next to me with different markets and different time frames, and I do compare the highs and lows and whatnot. So yes. NASDAQ clearing out sell side, trading back down into that 10-minute fair value gap. And this here. It's easy to pick bottoms at all-time highs. Yeah, it's an easy way to get smoked. I'm trying to force shorts if it's not there. It really has to show me that it wants to go lower. Have about 25 minutes till the open. Turning into a 15-minute imbalance. Zoom out this fair value gap. So let's adjust. And there's a small little volume imbalance, so you have to include that when drawing your fair value gap. So it would look like this. And let's clear this. Whoops, not that. And let's put this on top. We'll keep it there. Got about 20 minutes till the open, 22 minutes or so. Let's see, 5-minute chart. Looking at my other screen. We have imbalances all throughout the 5-minute and the 15-minute. Also this fair value gap here. I'm still bullish, looking for a higher high to be formed. I'm seeing this as just a run on relative equal lows, trading down into our normal fair value gap on the 15-minute chart. This should be like this. There we go. How come nobody told me I drew that wrong? I was supposed to be looking out for me. Consequent encroachment, that's nice. So these fair value gaps in here, I want to see us get above it and use it as support. Because again, my focus is the quadruple top here. So I want to see this possibly get used as an inversion level. That's what I would prefer to see. Simply because I don't want these traders to get left off the hook. So I'm going to draw this. Going to highlight this in gray. Whenever I highlight a fair value gap in gray, I prefer to see it fail. And when we get above it, I'll highlight it in orange because I want that to act as inversion. I'm not looking at any bearish breaker. I'm not looking at any PD array to go short. My focus is the buy side and running on traders who are trying to predict highs in all-time high conditions. So anybody looking to short in this, stop loss, where you're putting your stop, you're forced to put your stop in close proximity to all of this here, which is probably not the best idea. But could we save that for the opening bell? We could. Me personally, I don't want to see those highs stay intact before the open. I like to see us run that out in the next, what do we have, 18 minutes or so. I don't want that buy side to remain before or after 9:30. Do you use lower time frames? No, I don't have seconds charts. Me personally, for my trading, I feel like I don't need the seconds chart. It's just like I don't need it. I can find all my entries and everything I'm looking for on a 1 minute time frame or higher, 1 minute, 2 minute. Most of the time, my entries don't go past the 2 minute chart. But no, a 1 minute chart is enough for me. If I can't find my setup on a 1 minute chart, then it's probably something I shouldn't be trading. The only time when I wish I had like a seconds chart is if the market is like trending and it's just not giving a lot of entries. Like a lot of times there won't be a fair value gap on the 1 minute chart, or like the fair value gaps on the 1 minute chart are staying open and market is just like is running, is leaving, is trending. A lot of times you'll find a fair value gap entry like on a 30-second chart, 15-second chart, but on the 1 minute chart it just leaves you. So that's like the only instance where I can see me using a seconds chart, but for the most part, for me, my style, it's just not needed. So we have news in about 30 minutes. 9:40, 9:45, right? Yeah, 30 minutes. Look at the dollar index real quick. I haven't looked at it this morning. Clean highs up here. But we also have relative equal lows that are clean as well. just do this. That. We could take this off. This is my focus up here. Is he live every morning? I'm only live stream on YouTube on Mondays because I don't trade Mondays. But Tuesday through Friday, I'm live streaming only for the Discord members because I'm actually pressing buttons and all that fun stuff. I take Mondays off. Tuesday through Friday, that's all 4 days to find setups is really all I need. And Mondays can be a little, statistically speaking, Mondays can be a little bit more wonky, a little bit more, the markets can be a little bit more mixed. NASDAQ can be doing one thing, S&P can be doing the other. Dow would just be having a mind of its own. So Mondays, the markets can be a little mixed, so I don't really care for trading them. Unless it's like the final hour, macro, or something of that sort. But as far as the morning session goes, what happened to the Top Step account? I still have that funded account. I just don't trade it. It's in like 2% drawdown, I think. But I just trade my live account because my live account is almost at 100K. So I don't really need a funded account at this point. And then somebody told me they changed it. They said, because back then when I was trading it, the Top Step rule was you could only trade like 1 micro or 1 mini. I wanted to trade like 5 micros because I was in drawdown and I wanted to trade like 2 or 3 micros and I couldn't do it. I could only trade 1 micro contract or 1 mini, like you could only pick one or the other. And it was like, I could work myself out of drawdown with just 1 micro, but if that's the case, I might as well just like trade my personal account. So that's when I told the stream, or I told the Discord, we're just gonna trade my live account in stream. So that's what we've been doing. So all the trades for the past 2 months or so, that's all been live account executions. So it's still funded. I could still trade it, but I believe I still have it. I don't even know my login, but yeah. You jump to 50K. It's not at 100K. It's right now my personal account's at I think I just moved some stuff around. I think it's at like 65K, but by February it should be at 100 or close to. So let's look at NASDAQ's working in the lower half of that 15-minute imbalance. Let's browse through other markets. Dollar index looking a little strong. Micro, S&P is trading inside that same 15-minute fair value gap. The Dow, let me see, this is 7 a.m. The Dow leading the way, looking the heaviest out of the 3 averages. I'm being a little, I still favor this buy side getting ran out. Even if NASDAQ wanted to go lower, I would at least want to see us clear this out first, handle the business up here, and then possibly see us work lower. I just don't want to see this intact. Like if I was shorting anything in here, placing my stop somewhere in this region, my stop loss would be too close to the quadruple top. I hate putting my stop losses in the same level where I know everybody who's trading classic retail stuff, they're putting their stops here. So if I was to short this fair value gap or short this fair value gap, my stop loss has to go in this region. Well, everybody and their mama, their auntie, their granny, their pampy, their nieces, nephews, everybody else is putting their stop losses up here, and I don't want to be a part of that group. So that's why I'm still favoring the buy side. I want to see that get cleaned up. Do you trade the Russell? I don't even look at the Russell. The Russell. I'm good. I'm straight. Y'all got it, but I'm good over here. I'm good. I'm watching this down close candle. I want to see if there's any support in that. We're went into this small little consolidation. The Russell is crazy. I've known people. I think there's one or two people in the Discord who trade the Russell, but I mean, I'm perfectly fine with the Nasdaq. I don't even look at the Russell, so I can't even tell you how it moves. I have no interest in it. Once we get to the opening bell, I always say this, but once we get to 9:30, I kind of drop back to more of a neutral bias because that's when we're in the opening range between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. I don't trade the opening range, but I do use it as insight. I like to see what we did in those first 30 minutes. So once 9:30 gets here, we're going to clear all this off and then let the first 30 minutes pass, see what liquidity is still left on the table, see if we had kind of like a Judas swing type of action, who got punished, what liquidity still remains, who do we attack and whatnot. So those are all things that I'll look at once the opening range is completed. But for the next 8 minutes, still wanting to see if NASDAQ can get above this SIBI. Caught a flu, enjoyed how you reprice. Any promotions? There probably won't be any Discord promos soon. I just did one for Black Friday for the yearly access. So I don't plan on doing any Discord promo codes or anything like that anytime soon. I just did one. But compared to what everybody else is charging, the price is reasonable, especially for the content and the community and the resources and whatnot. And I'm always active in there. Like, a lot of people try to DM me on Instagram and Twitter. I really don't open my DMs on those social media platforms. I don't have my Instagram notifications even turned on. But in the Discord, I'm always active. I'm always chatting it up with the gang in there. So it's the best way to ask me questions or get in contact with me and whatnot. Just consolidating. Again, I prefer to see that buy side get tagged before 9:30. That's like best case scenario for me. Micro rollover. I look at the let me pull it up. Whenever I switch contracts, I look at the open interest. If open interest is higher in the next contract month, then I'll trade that. So what I like to do is go to Google. Let me see if I can do this. So we do this. So what I do, Google NQ open interest. I always use the CME group. open that. And then the December contract, okay, some people look at the volume, you can do that, but open interest, where is it at? Total volume, clearly there's still more volume in the December contract right there. So until that switches, a lot of people use that, but I like the open interest. Clearly there's way more open interest in the December contract instead of the March contract. So when this number for the March contract is higher than this number, then I'll trade the March contract. But for now, there's still way more volume and there's way more open interest in the December contract, so that's what I'm using. And again, we do have high impact news at 9:45. PMI. Opening range gap. Where do we close? We close. Oh yeah, that's large. Yeah. Two minutes or 2.5 minutes to the opening bell. Looks like NASDAQ wants to keep these highs intact and save it for either the morning session or the lunch hour. Trading inside of this imbalance. Anything beneath this, then I'm convinced that we'll probably run for the sell side. But as long as we stay above this fair value gap in the order block, still looking for higher prices. But if we lose this imbalance, more specifically its midpoint, this is kind of like my last line of defense for higher prices. If we lose midpoint of this, if we trade through it on a 5-minute basis, then I'll be convinced that we're likely to run for the sell side and potentially get back beneath the midnight opening price. But as long as we stay above it, then I'm looking for the quadruple top. So last line of defense for higher prices is this 5-minute fair value gap and its consequent encroachment. Let me see. When I used to trade optimal trade entry and whatnot, this is something that I used to take. I don't trade optimal trade entry anymore, but earlier on my channel, you'll see a lot of executions like this on a 1-minute chart, but this was my model. I think I still have the fib settings from when I used to trade that way. Trading model. I need to take this off. I don't trade this way, but I'll click that, and then I have my fib levels. Optimal trade entry levels. Those are the good days. It's a good model. OTE is a great model, especially if you're first starting out. It's good stuff. So opening bell in about 5 seconds. So preferably, I wanted the buy side to be tagged before 9:30. We didn't get that. Let's see if we want to make a run for it now. This candle open, trade down. These 3 down close candles here, that's one bullish order block. And you also have a breaker, low, high, lower low, and there's your buy side. This is why I don't short all-time highs. So I wanted to see buy side tag before 9:30. We tag it right at 9:30. That's not bad for precision. Last line of defense for higher prices was the 5-minute fair value gap. We work in the upper half, and NASDAQ makes new record highs. And anybody who tried to go short here or short this fair value gap or whatnot, unless you scalped a quick 20 handles or whatever that offered, you probably just got steamrolled. Fair value gap that we highlighted in gray, don't want to see that get used as resistance. I want to see us get above it, use it as an inversion level. Open, trade down, fail to reach the low of it, and then it rallies. All right, so now that that target has been hit, we didn't care for anything going short, wasn't looking for sell side, wasn't looking for any new day opening gaps or whatnot below us. We wanted the buy side. So now that that has been tagged, let's go ahead and clear our canvas. And we're gonna watch the opening range do what it do. I'm gonna switch this. And that was just way too juicy. That shorting anything in here with this still intact, you're asking to just get wrecked. So now with that out the way, let's put on some key levels that I like to look for. Clear this off for a second. Previous week's highs and lows for the last 3 weeks, gotta have that on your chart. We have previous week's high right here. That could be used throughout the entire week for up to 3 weeks. So you want to have that on your chart. Old weekly high. We have our current new week opening gap all the way down here. I'm not going to put that on my chart, I'm trying to keep it clean. But should NASDAQ trade down this much, then I'll put it on. Current new day opening gap. And previous days, highs and lows for the last 3 days. You have 1, 2, and 3. So this is an old daily high. Where is it at? And lastly, I'll go ahead and get consequent encroachment of this wick. If NASDAQ is bullish, we should stay in the upper half of that. So this is something I'll be watching on the lower time frame to see if NASDAQ wants to stay above midpoint of this discount PD array, which is the wick. And that comes in at 21,834.25. And that is your daily discount wick consequent encroachment. So only 3 levels on my chart. Previous week's high, an old daily high here, consequent encroachment of this wick. And should we trade down, then I'll put on our new day opening gap and whatnot. But for now, I'm gonna let NASDAQ continue to make its all-time highs. 15-minute chart. This stuff bothers me. I gotta fix this. Much better. That 15-minute fair value gap, respecting midpoint, trading down to this lower one with the wick, that's fine. 5-minute fair value gap, this was the Tremaine Trades classic Ultimo trade entry. That's nice, institutional order flow entry drill. and then sweeps out the buy side. Anybody who tried to short in here, all right, so now I'm dropping to more of a neutral bias. We just cleared out all the buy stops here. So what I'm watching to see is, does NASDAQ want to work lower? Because we are in a deep, deep premium. So if we turn on regular trading hours, this is our opening range gap. So what I'm watching to see is, does NASDAQ have the willingness to trade to consequent encroachment, or at least the lower quadrant of our opening range gap? Because everything right now is expensive on the day. So we're above the 8:30 open. We're above the midnight open. We cleared out a quadruple top, and we have a large, what is that? About 130 handle opening range gap. So everything is saying we're in a deep premium. Okay. I like the idea of us going lower now, but you don't force that idea because, again, NASDAQ is trading at all-time highs, and we have relative equal highs up here. But I'm watching to see the lower quadrant. It'll be easier if I did it this way, and this quadrants. So 867 even. I like to see that be tagged, but the price action on the 1 minute chart, 5 minute chart needs clean market structure shift. I need to see lows taken out with speed, and then I'll be looking for upper quadrant consequent encroachment. Should we trade to midpoint of our opening range gap? I'll be watching to see, do we use it as support, or does NASDAQ stay heavy? If it stays heavy, then I'm convinced we'll get back beneath the midnight open. So to make it clear, to make it obvious, I like the idea of NASDAQ rotating lower, repricing in this opening range gap, but I'm not forcing that idea because we're trading near all-time highs. All right, let's drop back down. Oh, we're on the 1 minute chart. Let's put it back on electronic. Get the handy dandy. Oh, where'd it go? Drag this bad boy over here. And actually, real quick, I do want to put that level on my chart real quick. So 867 even is your %, aka upper quadrant, and then consequent encroachment comes in, what is that? 834.5, which is pretty much consequent encroachment of the wick on the daily chart. That overlaps nicely, so I'm not going to put that on. I'm just going to relabel this / opening range gap consequent encroachment. Back here. So my draw, I like to see us reach this level, and then I'm watching to see, does NASDAQ have the willingness to reach this level, and I'll be observing to see how we trade here if we do so. If we still look heavy and bearish, then my draw will be the midnight open, and then that would conclude the morning session for my taste. Should we trade down beneath the midnight open, that's like, it's a wrap for me. Like, that's everything I wanted to see. That's best case scenario. But again, I need to see clean market structure shift to the downside, perhaps seeing this low taken out for me to feel comfortable in seeing anything going lower. So what I like to see is we have this first presented, is that right? Nope, not that. First presented fair value gap is your 930. Is this 930? What is this? 929. Okay, we don't have it yet. On a 1 minute chart, you don't have your first fair value gap yet. But I would like to see that be used as an inversion level whenever we do form it. Oh, I'm having fun. If you're in the live, if you're enjoying the live stream so far, please like the live, share it. Don't know if it does anything, but it would be much, much appreciated. If this is your first live stream, please subscribe. We have a lot of fun over here. I'll come out here on YouTube once, maybe on rare occasions, twice a week, doing a public tape reading stream. But subscribe, like, share with your trading buddies. Yes, we do have high impact news, PMI in about 5 minutes. And do you listen to music in your streams? Oh no, we're straight business in the live streams. The live trading streams is strictly business. We're focused on making money. And plus, well, the private streams, like I could play music, but it would be too distracting. Like we're focused on the price action and whatnot. We're all pretty much locked in. So this is your first presented fair value gap. It's fairly large. Again, NASDAQ needs to be really demanding, or let me say, I'm really demanding of what I want to see as far as NASDAQ going lower. I need to see lows taken out with a lot of speed for me to be convinced and seeing lower prices, because again, we're trading at all-time highs. So you don't want to try to do something like this, trying to short, and NASDAQ says, nope, I want higher prices, and then get smoked. So I really need to see something convincing going lower. If not, then higher prices is on the menu. But I'm watching to see how we trade here. We just cleared out relative equal highs. If you pull up like a 15-second chart, 5-second chart, this buy side is going to be too smooth with these two highs on the wicks. We just ran that out, traded into the first fair value gap. So I'm watching to see does that offer support, or do we get beneath it and use it as an inversion level to take us into that upper quadrant of our new week? No. Slow down, Tremaine. Our upper quadrant of the opening range gap. I prefer for it to be used as an inversion level. Can I trade your funded account? I don't even think that's allowed, and I don't want to get in trouble with Top Step. Are you profitable? Yes. Let me see what else we got. Can you confirm SMT? I'm not even looking at ES really. I have my monitor pulled up, but I'm really just focused on NASDAQ price action. So we're beneath the first fair value gap, what I'm looking at. And again, this can all change with our news at 9:45. But I want to see if we close beneath it. Next candle open, do we trade up and respect the lower half of the first fair value gap? Meaning, do we stay in the lower half of it? If we do that, to me, that's signs of bearishness. So we wick, trade up. So far, I haven't traded to consequent encroachment. If we work in the lower half of that first fair value gap, then I'll be convinced that we're likely to reach for the upper quadrant of our opening range gap, because that signs of bearishness is heavy. You really up there with Lumi and Tanya. I don't know who Lumi is. Never heard. But that's what's up. I know Tanya doesn't live stream, so we completely overlap that first fair value gap. So this is telling me that NASDAQ isn't as heavy as I would like. But I know Tanya doesn't stream on Mondays. Everything I do is calculated. That's why I come out here an hour earlier. I never, in the Discord streams, our streams start at 9:30, but I know the top dogs in the live stream trading industry, for the most part, don't trade Mondays. ICT isn't live, obviously. Tanya isn't live. So I'm looking around. I'm saying, okay, Tanya's not live today. ICT's not live today. I'm going to come out here an hour earlier and try to put on a show. So Lumi's another ICT trader. She's cool. That's what's up. I think I've seen that word thrown around, or her name thrown around. But I don't really, like I said, I don't keep up with much traders. The only live stream traders I know is like Tanya and like Patrick, like the household names, you know. There's your PMI number. And we're still in the opening range. Again, when I am live trading, I don't trade the first 30 minutes, so you wouldn't see me trying to engage in any of this. I'm just watching what we do between 9:30 and 10 o'clock. What did we do so far? We ran out the buy side. We traded again above previous week's high. We're above the 8:30 open. So I'm just observing what are we doing in this first 30 minutes and how does that set the stage for what I want to see, which is a potential repricing to the opening range gap upper quadrant, which lines up nicely with the sell side here. If you're in the Discord, you will see that he's profitable, which I tell you. And there's full transparency. Like, I feel like I'm one. There's other traders too, like Doyle. I love Doyle Exchange. I feel like he's transparent. He's one of the few like real traders who actually, he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He doesn't he doesn't try to hide anything. There's a few, very few transparent traders out there, but I share my losses. If I'm in a funk, if I'm in a bit of a losing streak, I share it. There's a channel in the Discord literally titled Losing Trades. We share our losing trades, sometimes provide feedback on those losing trades. I share my losses in there. I have videos on my channel of me taking losses. I think just last week I posted a video titled, what is it? 2 losses in a difficult morning session. Like, losses don't mean anything because I'm a great money manager. I manage my risk. Don't get me wrong, I want to win every trade I take. But being realistic, risk management is key, so transparency is huge. Something that I pride myself on. So I believe that's our last news driver for the day. Tomorrow, let's see what it's looking like this week. Let's see, tomorrow we have retail sales, high impact news, pre-market, so that should be nice. Wednesday we have FOMC in the PM. I might lower my risk on Wednesday since I'm trading the morning session. The morning session, whenever we have FOMC, can be a little bit muddy. So Wednesday, I'll probably cut my risk by a few contracts. And then Thursday and Friday should be nice. But as far as today, we have no more news. It's just straight price action. I'm watching to see if we want to get beneath this first fair value gap. Use it as resistance. Sell side. So, me personally, but NASDAQ has to show me that it's done making all-time highs. Again, you have to be cautious, looking for lower prices whenever we're in all-time high territory, because what's happening is every time we form a high like this and we move away, people are so quick to short that and they're putting their stops above this high and run it out. We form a high here, we move away, people are quick to short that and put their stops above this high. So that's why I'm really cautious looking for shorts. It has to show me what I want to see, which is getting below this. If I don't see that, it was used as support here. If we don't get beneath it, then I'm just expecting NASDAQ to continue running out highs and running out traders who are trying to predict the top. I'm short stop loss at all-time highs. Please tell me you're joking. Moment of silence. Moment of silence for Ian. Let me stop before NASDAQ reverses and doesn't take out that high. Unlikely, but I've seen crazier. It's just not worth shorting unless I see a clean displacement and whatnot. But I'm sure on like a 5-second chart, 15-second chart, there's likely a fair value gap in here, but I don't have access to that time frame, so I can't see it. But on a 1-minute basis, at least, I need to see us get beneath that first presented fair value gap. As far as the higher time frame goes, let's see what it's looking like. Hourly chart, 15-minute chart, 5-minute chart, everything daily chart. Let's see. I'm gonna take a quick glance at S&P. S&P looks nasty. I swear. And those in the Discord, you know, I feel like every time we look at S&P, it's just nasty. Like, and I used to trade ES, and it was not moving like this. It's just real spotty. It's just nasty. I'm glad I switched to NASDAQ. Is paper trading working for you? Well, is paper trading down right now? I think I'm on. Yeah, it's paper. I don't know. TradingView loves doing maintenance for some reason during the morning session. It's under maintenance. Is it? Oh, that's tough. That's tough. I don't know, why do they do that? Like, you can't do maintenance over the weekend. You can't do maintenance like after the closing bell. You want to do maintenance during the morning session. Like, come on, there's got to be a way you can avoid. Like, come on. Like, that just doesn't make sense. It's like they're trolling on purpose. It's like, come on. Like, doing maintenance after the opening bell is crazy work. Oh, no, for sure. Because I still have those screenshots, the daily screenshots channel. Like, there's over a year's worth of screenshots. If you scroll up back to when I used to trade ES, the price action for ES, like, it was clean. It was smooth. But as of late, S&P, every time I look at it, it's just like barcode. It just looks nasty. And I can't really talk because NASDAQ isn't really the cleanest either. There goes Ian, stop loss, RIP. I'm counting that, by the way, guys. I'm sorry I got to do it to you. The chat record, oh, it's just getting nastier by the week. Oh, my goodness. We got to do better, people. This is really just, like, it's getting ugly. It's getting ugly. Oh, my goodness. So NASDAQ making all-time highs. I didn't see what I wanted to see, which is wanted to see us close beneath the first fair value gap, use it as resistance, use it as support. That's fine. So I get asked a lot, how do you trade all-time highs? So in this instance, again, if you don't follow me on Twitter, I shared my model and the examples and rules and everything. The exact trading model I'll be using in 2025. I just posted that on Twitter. I know some people probably don't want to look up my Twitter, so I'll do you a solid and go ahead and share that. So in the chat room, I just sent out the link to the post of my model.
Let me see. But whenever we're trading at all-time high territory like this, I just take a simple, if we're bullish, I take a price leg going down. So in this instance, we have this here from that low to that high. Run projections. -1.5 standard deviation. -2 standard deviation. That's a good target. And then I just keep going. And then if we were to form another retracement, like on a 5-minute chart down, and then trade higher and take out that short-term high, I'll take that, move down, project it higher, and I'm getting more targets. But this is really all you can do, and you can do that on a daily chart as well for a longer term. All right, let's clear this off for a second. So we had this move down with these 2 down close candles. You take this low to this high, -1 standard deviation. We just tagged -0.75, just eyeballing it. Right there. So next draw for me will be -1 standard deviation on a daily basis. That's a little bit more of a long-term target, and then you have -1.5 and so forth. But whenever we're trading all-time highs, that's how I target, because clearly we don't have any buy side or anything above us. And there we go. Now our current all-time high is right here. Might as well just take that off. Bitcoin. People still be touching Bitcoin. I'm deleting my channel if Bitcoin reaches. No, I'm just kidding. Not happening. I'm not really a fan of crypto. If Bitcoin reaches 108,000, I'm deleting the channel. Imagine it hits it today, something crazy. Oh man, come on, y'all thought ICT was really gonna delete his channel? Y'all know that man wasn't gonna do that. I feel like he be in the chat sometimes. He just don't be talking. Cause I'm looking around the board. Tanya isn't live. Patrick doesn't go live until like 9:15, I think, or it's 9:30, and I'm live an hour before everybody else. I feel like he's in the chat sometimes, but he just don't be typing. Let me go back. I'm getting a little distracted. So for me to be even considering shorts, we have to get beneath the first presented fair value gap. That's the criteria that I'm demanding. If we don't get that, then higher highs for NASDAQ. And then as far as projections go, this low up to the highest high, which is here. Next draw for me, -2 standard deviation. If we get above that, -2.5. So if I was long anything in here, or pre-market, if I was holding runners, this is how I would be taking partials. If I had like 3 micros left, taking one off here, taking one off here, taking one off here, and so forth, because again, we're at all-time highs. ICT's busy rocking Robin's Cup. Supposedly, ICT's not even trading the Robin's Cup. Supposedly, in his Twitter space, he said, this is so controversial, but I love it. ICT said in his Twitter space that the Robin's Cup breaking the record and all that was just a hoax. Basically, he said that he advertised himself winning the Robin's Cup and purposely failing it so that people who resell his content and resell his concepts, it's harder for those people to market his concepts because he failed in the Robin's Cup. That's what he said in his Twitter space. Matter of fact, I think I have a clip. So I don't know. He might not even be touching the Robin's Cup, but then at the same time, like, I don't know. Who knows what that man is doing? I love him, don't get me wrong, but I don't even know what he's doing. Let me see if I can find it. It was way, dang, I don't even realize how much I be tweeting. I feel like I don't touch Twitter that much, but I'm scrolling. Dang. Oh, right here. So, allegedly, I'm gonna send it in the chat. That's what he said as far as the Robbins Cup. He said everybody who resells his concepts and his, like, everything. Everybody who just takes his content and resells it, now they're forced to market with selling concepts that ICT supposedly couldn't even use in the Robbins Cup. Like, it was his whole, like, mastermind plan or something, allegedly. I think it's pretty funny, but again, I could care less. It has nothing to do with me. It's entertaining, though. It's very entertaining. Matter of fact, I wouldn't say ICT is a clown. I love the man. And I think he's just, like, he has a persona. Like, his personality on Twitter is, like, I feel like if you were to have a face-to-face conversation with ICT, I feel like it would be sincere. Like, it'll feel like you won't be talking to Twitter ICT. You'll be talking to ICT, like the husband, the father, you know what I mean? Like the actual human. But his persona online, like, I feel like it's a whole different person. I'm gonna play the clip because I want to rewatch it. It was pretty funny. Let me see. All right, listen up. Oh, listen up.
My image this year, so that way you can't do that.
Wait, I gotta restart.
And I marred my image this year, so that way you can't do that. Think about it. Why would anybody want to learn what ICT couldn't do in Robbins Cup? That's what you're forced to market with now. Oh, man, you got a real hard sell now. Think about it. Oh, man, you didn't see that one. You didn't see that one coming, did you?
This dude is crazy. Oh my god, he's a character, man. But you gotta love him. Like, you gotta love him. Like, the trading industry needs. We need that. You gotta love it. He laughs like the Joker. Yo, man. You gotta love it, man. So there's really not much to talk about as far as price action. NASDAQ is just posting all-time highs. Obviously, we're not interested in shorting unless it gives us a clear reason to do so. So as far as I'm concerned, it can continue to rally 100 handles, 200 handles. I'm going to let it do what it does. Where's your face cam? Nah, man. 'Cause if I had a face cam, I have to, like, I want to look somewhat presentable. Not saying I look like crusty or nothing, but I'm in a little house robe right now. I don't got a shirt on. Like, my hair, I probably still got bedhead. Like, it's too much maintenance. I ain't trying to look pretty for y'all. No offense. But if you want to see my face, I have like 3 or 4 vlogs on my YouTube channel. You can see my face. You can see my mom. I got my mom in the vlog, my sister, some close friends. So I'm not hiding, but when I'm trading, look at the charts. You don't need to be focused on me. Focus on the chart. Nah, ain't nobody got no eye boogers. I shower and all that before the stream. Not trading naked. That's crazy. That's too much of a risk. I feel like one click of the button, I'll accidentally turn my camera on. And if I'm buck naked, that's going to go viral. So I can't take that chance. I can't do it. When he's not teaching directly, he's great. I'm excited to see what ICT is going to do in 2025. I already have the 2025 notes channel in Discord ready to go. I got my notebook ready. It's exciting. Romeo would love. Don't mention Romeo ever in my chat room. Yeah, matter of fact, how do I get that comment up out of here? I don't even want that energy in the same vicinity as me. I gotta delete that. I'm sorry. And get that up out of here. We don't do scammers here. CRT. Come on, man. Didn't his messages get leaked where he's talking about scamming people and calling them dumb and how they'll fall for anything? Allegedly. But that ain't got nothing to do with me. Like, come on, man. Like, people gotta stop falling for this stuff. If you're trading it live and all that, that's another thing. But if you're just selling, and you're not pushing buttons with what you teach, like, come on, dude. That's why I don't follow anybody on Twitter. It's so toxic. And somehow, as soon as I open Twitter, my, like, For You page or the home feed or whatever, it's still toxic. I'd be so quick to just switch off of that. Like, it's just toxic. I have so many traders in the community muted. They're not blocked, but, like, I mute their tweets because I'm tired of seeing them on my home page talking crazy. It's so toxic. Like, Twitter is so toxic. I feel like I have to, like, shower. That's the way ICT described it. Like, I feel like every time I get off Twitter, I have to shower because it's just so toxic. It's so nasty. It's an ego fest over there. It's disgusting. Like, bro. I just get on there, post what I want to post, and then I close the app. What's our song today? I'm not going to play any music because of copyright, but the song of the day is my favorite Christmas song of all time, Give Love on Christmas Day by the Jackson 5. It's a classic. What's your take on Casper? No comment. I don't know him. Again, I don't keep up with other traders. I just saw like his stuff trending and whatnot. I don't care what you do in your past. I'm sure we've all done stuff in our past that we're not proud of. I know I have. I'm sure like we're all human. So regardless of what you did in your past, like, I mean, it's in the past. Who are we to judge somebody for what they've done? But as far as the scamming and the alleged you know, that's none of my business. Again, I don't know what's true, what's not. He was on the news. Hey, man. Hey. Listen. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's just none of my business. It's very entertaining. I feel like a lot of... Not saying Casper got exposed because he looks like a good trader. Like, he looks like he can execute and whatnot. So I respect for that. Anybody who live streams their trades and shows the executions, because I have people in the Discord, they say, man, I was in this other dude's Discord. He said he live streams. He doesn't even show his entries. He just shows us, like, after the fact. And it's like, what kind of foolishness is that? If you're going to trade live in front of people, we need to see your entries. Explain your stop loss. Explain your take profit. Like, explain all of that. Like, if you really know what you're doing. If not, then you shouldn't be offering a service. But I don't know. I wish him the best, though. But that got nothing to do with me. Mamba FX, I don't know who that is. TJR, I don't know who that is. So let's see, did we hit that negative? I think we just fell short of that. Negative 2.5. Just fell short of that. But when can you reasonably expect a retracement or some sort of real reversal? When you get closer to London close, 1050 to 1110. But until then, everything in the chart is giving signs of bullish order flow for now. So if we were to take out this swing low, not saying that we're going to, again, I'm not trying to predict the highs, but if we were to take out this swing low, I'll treat this candle as a potential bearish breaker. I'll be observing to see if that gets used as resistance. But for now, still looking for our standard deviation targets. I'm muted, banned in the chat just for, you're not banned, bro. You're not banned. You're not banned. You're not muted. Swaggy C, I don't know who that is. I only know Doyle, Tanya, and Patrick. Those are really the only like traders / live streamers that like I really like keep up with. All the Twitter traders and influencers, I stay out of it. Like I plan on being at I keep forgetting the name. What's the FX Summit? I plan on being at the FX Summit next year, and I was debating like if I go to the FX Summit, am I gonna be like wanting to network and like talk to all these other traders, or do I just want to kind of be like a fly on the wall and kind of just sit back and just observe and like, you know, just kind of watch and listen to everybody? Because I don't like talking to people like that, believe it or not. Why you call that? It's the first fair value gap after 9:30. You can't use the actual 9:30 candle. Dodgy. I mean, I've seen stuff about him, but I don't know anything about him. Montez, I don't know who that is. Hydra, I muted him on Twitter. He was getting irritating. No offense, nothing personal. I just keep seeing his tweets pop up. I had to mute it. I think Dodgy's muted too. Pretty much everybody in the trading community is muted on my Twitter. Not blocked. I just don't want to see your tweets. Talk about CRT over some dinner. Look, listen. If I'm forced to sit across the table from Romeo and discuss CRT, please, somebody, like, I'm gonna politely get up, excuse myself to the bathroom, and I'm never coming back. It's not happening. Oh, man. I do want to go on the podcast, though. I do want to go on, what's the podcast that everybody likes? The Riz podcast, is it? The Riz Trading Podcast? What is it? Arjo. I've seen his videos, but I don't know. I never seen him execute. I don't know if he live streams like in a private setting or whatnot. But words of wisdom. I do want to go on that podcast. That'll be fire. Maybe that'll be a goal for next year. Titans of Tomorrow. Never heard of it. Kit, never heard of it. Never heard of it. But I do want to go on that podcast. I feel like that'd be fun. Fly out there, wherever he's located. That'll be fun. NASDAQ going into a small little consolidation. We have buy side being generated above the swing high. I was listening to an ICT Twitter space yesterday when I was working out, and he mentioned, what did he say? What was it? I don't want to like misquote it, but I think he said within the first hour, the high or low of the day forms. Between 9:30 and 10 o'clock, you'll often see the high or the low of the day. Or did he say the session? Something like that. But how many backtest trades do you need to have confidence? That's all based on the trader. When you're back testing and you're paper trading and you feel like it's boring, losses don't affect you. You feel like it's just like another day in the office. Like when I trade, it literally just feels like a job. Like I come in, clock in, I do the same exact thing every day. I know my risk management. I know what I'm looking for. I know my time window. I clock in, clock out, clock in, clock out. So it's like, you know, it's once trading feels boring when you're on paper and losses don't faze you, wins, you don't get overly excited, you don't feel all like hopped up, you don't feel all just emotional when you win or you lose, then you can make the decision on your own to go into live whenever you feel like you're ready. Wisdom now wants proof over 6 months of profitability. I got that. That ain't a problem. Does he trade? Does Wisdom trade, or he just does podcasts? I'm sincerely asking. He did, not as much anymore. Not as much anymore. If I go on this podcast, I'm pulling the Cat Williams. I'm exposing everybody. I don't care. I'm just going to go out there. I'm calling out people. I'm just going to have fun with you. So, again, I'm watching this swing low. I want to see if we get beneath it and treat it as potential resistance. One thing I'm noting, if you remember our opening range gap, we still have a large portion of that not traded to. If we take out this swing low, I'll be seeing this down close candle get used as resistance to be used as a bearish breaker. He's only letting verified after. But like, why? Like, you have a podcast, regardless if the trader is profitable or regardless if the trader, whatever, you have a podcast. You're not hiring them to work for you. You're not like whatever. Like, you're gonna miss out on some great interviews simply because you demand 6 months of profitability or whatever. Like, if a guest wants to come on, if a trader wants to come on, even if not profitable, let them on. Like, I feel like it will make for good content. I think it's time to open up my own podcast. Screw it. All backgrounds, all levels of profitability, welcome. I don't care if you sold cocaine in the past. You're welcome on my podcast. We'll have a nice chat. But I mean, I don't know. I don't know where he is located, but it would be nice to take a little flight down to do a little podcast. That'd be fun. Oh, felons, all that, like, they're all welcome. Like, we don't judge over here. It's a safe place. They should say they're unprofitable and not pretend to be. Hey, man. He's in Dubai. Ooh, that's nice. I want to go to Dubai. I don't know where FX Summit is located for 2025. I know this year, was it this year, 2024? I think FX Summit was in Dubai. Wherever it's at in 2025, I'm going to try to be there. That'll be so fun. I got to mark that off the bucket list. I'm going to ask my girl, see if she want to come. It's in Singapore. The location's already announced. We listen, but I'm judging. I'm watching to see if we take out this swing low. And then if we get beneath it, I want to see, do we use it as resistance? We have a lot of trail sell side. One thing I'm watching, low, equal lows, higher lows all throughout here, equal lows, sell side, equal lows, low, higher low, higher low, higher low. So clearly whoever is making money going long. And we have sell side, minor sell side underneath this low. And now let's take this off. Let's extend this forward. Drag this through. Really, your entire breaker would be these 3 consecutive down close candles, but your most sensitive candle is the last one. So this is the one I'm focusing on. I'm gonna highlight it in gray because it's something I'm observing. Do this. And then let's do that. And I want to see how NASDAQ trades here. So, trying to get a little bit of insight. We have a fair value gap. Do we leave that open? If we're bearish and we do that, kind of like what we're seeing here, if we don't trade to this fair value gap, that's potential signs of heaviness. If we trade up to the breaker, do we stay in the lower half of it? Okay, that's a bearish signature. If we get those type of signatures in price, then I'll be convinced that the opening range gap, opening quadrant, that's also overlapping with the sell side, I'll be convinced that that's in the books for the morning session. But the 2 signatures I'm watching is, do we leave this open because it's in the upper half, it's above mean threshold of the breaker, and do we stay in the lower half of the breaker itself? If we do that, then I like the idea of lower prices. Dubai is whack. I want to go to Dubai just for the experience, like just to say I've been to Dubai just to experience everything Dubai has to offer. I don't even have my passport. Like, I've never been outside the country. Definitely gotta see more of the world. Let's see. So we're on the breaker. I'm watching to see if there's sensitivity. Do we leave this open? If not, that's telling me that NASDAQ isn't as heavy as I would like and is likely just going to make a higher high and make a new all-time high. But I'm watching to see, do we stay in the lower half of the breaker? I recommend seeing more of it before they start banning U.S. passport holders. That's crazy. Bogota? Interesting. So NASDAQ approaching the high of the breaker, completely repricing in this fair value gap. None of those signatures are bearish. So we're going to take this off. Let NASDAQ make a new all-time high, should it want to do so. And then you wait. Bogota. Definitely want to be there. FX Summit. Maybe I'll do like a vlog. Trader goes to the FX Summit. Day trader goes to the FX Summit. That'll be a dope video. So we've taken out sell side. In this instance, obviously with us being in a deep premium, okay, I would be a little cautious about buying all the way up here. but just to have it on the record, okay, again, I shared my model and how I like looking for shorts targeting the midnight open. In this instance, if I wanted to participate in the move and something going long, I would have to use half risk. So normally in the streams, I'll go long like 10 contracts, or I just use 10 contracts in general. If I wanted to be a buyer on this day, I would have to use 5 contracts, micros, 5 micros. Okay, cutting my risk in half because I'm buying at such a high price. I have to allow myself to reduce some of that potential risk. But if I'm trading my model, which is taking a short towards the midnight open, then I'll use full leverage, which is 10 micros. And again, everybody who's trying to predict tops, everybody who's shorting, high gets ran out, high gets ran out, this high gets ran out. Everybody who's trying to short this thing just keeps getting steamrolled, which is why you have to be cautious in trying to short, especially if you're looking at like a 5-second chart or a 15-second chart. It's real easy to see a fair value gap to go short a SIBI and get caught up on the lower time frame, but you have to zoom out a little bit, look at your 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart, so you don't get chopped up. You no longer use 20. If I'm trading the PM session or Asia, something with lower volatility, then I'll trade 20 micros, or I'll just do 2 minis. But the volatility in the morning is too high, so I can't fit 2 minis, or the equivalent to 20 micros. But when my account size grows a little bit, then obviously I can bump up that a little bit. So if NASDAQ takes out this high, this is when I'll do another projection from this low to this high, because we don't have any targets above us. How far above this high can we travel? Negative quarter standard deviation, negative half standard deviation, and then a measured move up here. 22,000 is in the crosshairs. Nice round number, institutional number. It's attractive. Why not 1 mini instead of 10 micros? I like taking partials and leaving runners. Is something I'm working on. If I only trade 1 mini, then it's kind of like one shot, one kill, which is how I used to trade. But I like banking a couple $100 with a couple micros and then letting the rest ride. Next year, I want to focus on capturing like majority of the daily range. So I'll be holding positions. Like if I went long 10 micros, I may leave like 1 or 2 micros on throughout the lunch hour, throughout the PM session, all the way to the close, so I can focus on capturing bigger moves. I always forget. What up, Aunt? Let's see what everything else is doing. S&P, is S&P at all-time highs? No, it's not. So S&P has relative equal highs, really clean. Dow. Every time Nasdaq and S&P are doing something, the Dow is always stubborn, and it's just like y'all have fun. I'm not interested in going higher. So the Dow is just doing its own thing. We're gonna let it do that. Dollar index, did we clear out that buy side? Let's see. Just fell short of it, but we did clear out these relative equal highs. All-time highs, record highs. I guess you can pretty much call this Santa's rally, as people like to call it, the month of December and its bullishness. We're pretty much seeing that now. That's another thing. A lot of people will use S&T in their analysis. You got to be careful looking at S&T when Nasdaq's trading at all-time highs. A lot of people will say, okay, S&P did not make a higher high or whatnot. You have to understand, we're trading at all-time highs. It's real likely that we're going to continue running out buy stops, buy stops, buy stops, buy stops. So in an instance like this, when we're trading at all-time highs, I don't care about any SMT because I know Nasdaq is likely to make a new higher high. So whether S&P is failing to make a higher high, or if S&P is looking weaker, or if Dow's looking weak, which it is, or it's not looking as strong as Nasdaq, I don't care about any S&T because my thought process is we're just going to keep steamrolling over people looking at short, regardless if S&P or Dow made a higher high or not. Now, when we get to the macro, the 1050 to 1110 macro, where I'm expecting a retracement or some sort of run on the sell side before continuation, then at that point I'll compare highs and whatnot. But if we're trading all-time highs, I don't care about SMT because we're just going to keep doing this. So if S&P was trading down here and Nasdaq is trading, or let's switch it. Let's say S&P already made a higher high and Nasdaq is trading down here. I'm not saying, okay, Nasdaq could not make a higher high, S&P already did, Nasdaq's going lower. The thought process is we're likely to make all-time highs because people are trying to short it. And then you get that. Negative 0.25 standard deviation, 22,000 booked. Next target, negative half standard deviation. I'm watching these two down close candles as a bullish order block. If we trade down into it, I'm watching to see if that offers support. And then you also have a bullish breaker. So let's take this off for a second. You have your low, high, lower low. Last beefiest up close candle in between your two lows at your breaker. I'm watching that, and it's just below the order block here. So let's take this off. And let's do this. And do this. The bodies. And then let's put this back on. ES is easier to trade. I used to trade S&P. It was just too slow for me. Some people like the slower market, but I wanted something faster, and NASDAQ was like perfect. I like the volatility. Standard deviation settings. Pause that. Every ICT tool. If you don't see price inside today's opening range gap, then do you take that gap to next day? I rarely do that. I'll make a note of it, but I rarely extend previous opening range gaps. I really just like using our current one and look at where price is trading and relative to the midnight open and the 8:30 open, and that'll pretty much tell me everything I need to know. And 5. I'm gonna step to the kitchen real quick because my stomach is growling, and I'm about to make a little snack or find whatever I have in the pantry. Un momento. I'll be back well before the 11 o'clock macro. 1 second. All right, I'm back. Oops. I got the best breakfast you can imagine. Some sour punch straws with a side of Takis. That's all I could find. And some lemon water. I don't be eating like this in the morning, but I'm starving. See, just tag -0.5 standard deviation. I may not stay on till the London close macro because if NASDAQ is just going to trend higher, then it's really not much to really go over. Just let it go higher. Candy for breakfast. I normally don't, but my stomach is growling. Watching the fair value gap again with the order block. The order block is these 2 consecutive down close candles. The most sensitive part is the opening price of the first candle all the way up to the high of the wick. So I'm watching to see if this can take us higher. Again, just trying to highlight all the discount PD arrays that we have. We're trading at all-time highs, so I don't have much to work with. So right now, all that's in the chart is the fair value gap, the order block, and then the breaker. Body stopping pretty much right at that opening price. Let's look at S&P, Dow. Look at dollar real quick. Dollar index really looking heavy now. So we have S&P still looking bullish, relative equal highs. We have Dow equal highs up here. That might be a little bit of a stretch for this morning, but still like higher prices in Dow. I'm not convinced that NASDAQ is done going higher just yet, given the fact that dollar is looking really heavy and S&P and Dow are looking somewhat bullish still. So to prevent myself from trying to predict highs in the market and whatnot, I'm still looking for a new all-time high until NASDAQ shows me otherwise. That's what's up, Casino Trades. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. Up 1,600. That's what I'm talking about. We include the volume balance, 939, 940, 939. Include the volume balance. There's no volume balance here. First time here. Let's go. Glad to have you here. When and how did you realize you could actually understand the charts? It's a gradual thing. It's gradual. Like there's no, I talked about that in my latest vlog when I went to Austin. Somebody asked me, when was your aha moment? I don't really believe in aha moments as far as trading goes. There's never really just one thing that skyrockets your trading to the next level. It's just a gradual understanding, day in, day out, studying, putting in the work, and then over time, however long that is for you, then it'll slowly start to click over time. But I never really had a moment where it was just like, I understand it now. Like, no, that's not how it works. Like, it's gradual. It's a slow process. I am live trading tomorrow in the Discord. I'm live trading Tuesday through Friday for the Discord members only. I don't trade live on YouTube. I just do tape reading on Mondays. How do you realize you actually understand? No, I'm not including that. It's not a volume imbalance. I know what you're talking about, but I'm not including it. You can if you want to, but it is a gap. It is an inefficiency, but I'm not. We're a few minutes away from that macro. Again, be careful if you're trying to predict tops in the market. It's easy to get steamrolled. Dollar is looking really bearish. S&P and Dow are showing signs of strength. So I think Nasdaq's likely to make a higher high. Use this fair value gap as an inversion level, meaning get above it, treat it as support, and then make a run for the buy side, and possibly a full measured move, -1 standard deviation from this low to that high. London or New York, which is cleaner? They both can be clean based on the economic calendar. If you entered at 21,978, where's your stop loss? I can't speak on stop loss placement. Want us to get above this. This is just my analysis, what I like to see. If we fail to get above it, that 1050 to 1110 macro often brings a retracement. A lot of times what will happen if we're having a really trending day like today, what am I doing? A lot of times what will happen is we'll have a really trending day like we're seeing today, and then we get to 1050, 1110, you'll see like a short-term low taken out or a short-term low taken out here, and then you'll see a continuation higher. So that London close macro will do pretty much one of those two things. It will just completely reverse and we'll run on all the sell side here, or if we're still really trending on the day and still really bullish, we'll sweep a low within those 20 minutes, and then you'll see a continuation. So you'll get that retracement lower, but it'll be short-lived. It's just running out trailed sell stops, and then it'll go higher and continue to whatever premium objective it had earlier. How many screens? I just have my laptop and then a monitor. My monitor has 4 charts on it. It's like a 4-chart layout. So my monitor looks like this. If it wants to load. So this is what my monitor looks like. Except I have all this stuff usually taken off. I have a daily chart, hourly chart, 15-minute chart, 5-minute chart, and then you guys all see the 1-minute chart. And then I have a separate layout called extra monitor. I only have one monitor, but I have these 2 tabs pulled up on it. And then this monitor, I'm watching the dollar index, I'm watching Euro, I'm watching S&P, and I'm watching the Dow. So I have these two tabs on one monitor and I flip back and forth. What's up, Emma? Been good. Long time no see. Been chilling. So 1050 is this candle here. We dropped down, taking out this short-term low. I want to see if NASDAQ wants to continue higher, making a new all-time high. Let's see. I still want to see us get above this SIBI. This last down close candle we've been working inside of, that's an order block in itself. The two down close candles, but the last one here from what ICT teaches. Excuse me. Back inside the breaker between these two lows here. If we get through that, then I'll possibly be looking for the sell side. On a 5, let me see. Let's clear this off. 5-minute chart, you have a bullish order block. Or no, yeah. Main threshold of the breaker. I'm watching to see if we stay in the upper half of it. 5-minute chart. My goodness, hold on. Let me clear this. Let's do that, then that. 3 down close candles before this rotation higher. I'm watching the opening price. And then you draw it through. What are your indicators? It's just sessions. When I do the market reviews on Twitter and all that, I didn't have my watermark this whole time. That's tough. Sessions on chart, Arrow Rocks, AIF. That's all it is. One loss today, grateful because I learned from it. That's the right mindset. That's the mindset you got to have. When you take losses, learn from it, journal it. What did you do wrong? What could you do better? And then you just keep it pushing. Keep it pushing. That's all you can do. So far, staying in the upper half of that breaker. Still expecting this fair value gap to be used as inversion should we get above it. So don't be confused by seeing it labeled that it hasn't been used as inversion yet, but I'm expecting later in the future for us to get above it. If we don't, then it was just used as a regular sell side imbalance, buy side inefficiency, excuse me. Why is the new week opening gap not the draw? Because we're bullish. NASDAQ wants all-time highs. We don't want to go lower. Gotta look at your daily chart, your weekly chart. It's not interested in going lower to that new week opening gap. Didn't see a good entry. So we're trading back in that SIBI. I want to see if we can get above it, treat it as support. We've already done what I like to see during the London close macro. We talked about a lot of times on really trending days, NASDAQ would do just this. We'll form a short-term low, work higher, come back down. We'll sweep that low, and then you'll see a continuation. It's a classic signature during this 20-minute window, staying still in the upper half of the breaker, which is nice. So the only thing I'm looking for is can we get a closure past consequent encroachment of the SIBI? And is there a volume imbalance there? There's a small little volume imbalance right there. So I'm watching consequent encroachment. I want to see, do we get a closure above that? Do we get a closure above the high? Next candle open, trade down, use that support, and then run on the buy stops here. A fair value gap. I'm not going to highlight it. I already have enough on my chart, but I'm expecting that to take us higher above the inversion fair value gap. That's what I would like to see. I'm just looking at buy, not signals, but buy, how I say, any discount PD arrays that can be used to send price higher. Those are the only things I'm focusing on. I'm not really looking for anything to take us lower, simply given the fact that we're trading near all-time highs. Any other day, London close macro, I'll be looking at this SIBI as resistance. I'll be wanting to see us get beneath the breaker. I want to see speed underneath lows, but because we're in all-time high territory, to prevent myself from trying to predict tops, I'm just focusing mainly on fair value gaps, bullish fair value gaps, order blocks, bullish breakers, things of that sort. But any other day where we're not trading at all-time highs, I'll be expecting a run towards sell side during this London close macro. Christmas shopping street, use that $3. I might have to send that $3.27 again. I got you on. Actually, nah, I can't do that. It's Christmas season for me too. I'm sorry. It's everybody for themselves. December is an expensive month for me. It's Christmas, and my girl's birthday is on December 28th. So her birthday is 3 days after Christmas. You on your own, Unc. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I can't do it for you. Yeah, losses don't mean anything, man. I'm sorry, Tim. Hey, you know how it is around the holidays. Mama needs something, your girl needs something, your lady got to get gifts for your dad, whatever. You know, and then her birthday 3 days after that. So your $3.27 is gonna have to come another day. It's coming though, but it's not today. Nasdaq trading to the high of the breaker again. All of this price action is fine. We're staying in the upper half. All of that is a bullish signature. Okay, if you're bullish, you don't want to see the lower half, a discount PD raise traded to. Clearing out the buy stops. I like the speed above that high. And my thought process is, okay, so right there, we closed above constant encroachment of the inversion fair value gap. These 3 down close candles, that's one bullish order block. Trade down, hit it, and we also traded down to constant encroachment of the SIBI. I want to see higher prices from here towards the buy side, all-time highs. Anybody who was trying to short where they're putting their stop losses at the all-time high, I want to see us run against them. The order block from the opening price all the way to the high is what I'm watching to be used as support. Yeah, let's do that. I want to see if we can stay in the upper half of the inversion fair value gap. All right, we formed a fair value gap here. I'm treating that as a breakaway gap. If we trade down into it, I want us to stay in the upper half, but it's even better if we leave this entire fair value gap open and simply use the order block and then consequent encroachment of the inversion fair value gap as support to take us higher. It's even better if we don't trade into this fair value gap. I don't want to see that. That's a partial, the rejection block. That is liquidity. Whenever you have a long wick like this, but where are the bodies? The bodies are relatively in the same spot, all right here. This candle's body, that candle's body, this candle's body, this one, this one. Okay, the highest closing price in this swing high is rejection block. That is liquidity. Yes, you have this wick, but the bulk of the volume lies in the bodies of the candles. So right here, that's liquidity as well. It's a rejection block. I still favor the high being taken out, but that right there is a partial for anybody long. That's how I would take partials. So stabbing into the fair value gap, tapping the opening price of the order block. I want the lower half. Excuse me. Ideally, I want the lower half to stay open, but you should already be partialed out at that closing price of the up close candle. If this price action was present on one of your trading days, at what point in time when you close your laptop? I'm usually done by like 11 for the most part, but this is a day where if I go long, it would have to be half risk, or I'm just doing nothing. The closing price, the rejection block is the highest closing price in this swing high, which is this candle here. This up close candle, yes. Let's get a little tighter. Fair value gap. I'm going to take the order block off just for a second. inversion fair value gap and its consequent encroachment. We say we want to see that be used as support. Look at the bodies. That looks like support to me. Let's clear that off just for a second. This fair value gap, I said I want to see the lower half stay open. If we do trade into it, okay, the lower half needs to stay open. It's even better if we don't trade to it, but we hit the rejection block. So that's a normal retracement down to a discount PD array. Tap consequent encroachment, leaving the lower half open. That's a bullish signature. That's what you like to see. And there's your all-time highs. So anybody who tried to go short in this fair value gap, they get steamrolled again. So we're not looking to short all-time highs. Let NASDAQ do its retracement. We talked about the London close macro. A lot of times you'll see a short-term low taken out before a continuation, staying in the upper half of the breaker. That's bullish. Come back down, fair value gap, order block, trade up. Talked about the order block, the opening price of these series of 3 down close candles, the opening price all the way to the high. Okay, that is your most sensitive price point for order block. So if we put that back on, beautiful, wicking down into the fair value gap, that's fine. And then of course you had the inversion fair value gap, which I did not want to see be used as resistance. It was labeled as an inversion level, okay, the entire time, because I'm expecting us to get back above it. Use this consequent encroachment as support. New record highs for NASDAQ. This was a fun stream. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Join the Discord if you're not in there already. Okay, I'm live trading tomorrow only for the Discord. I'm trading throughout the entire year. I was going to be done last week, but the price action has been really clean as of late. So I'm back live trading. Link pinned in the top of the chat room to join. It's also pinned in the top of the live stream, and it's also in my profile. It's in the top of the description of every video I post. So if you found this one insightful, if you learned a little bit of something, please like the live, share it, save it, do whatever you want. Appreciate y'all tuning in. It's been a lot of fun. We'll do a quick little recap before we get off of here for those who didn't tune in from the beginning. But 8:30, okay, we highlighted the quadruple top for those who tuned in from the beginning. Okay, I didn't care about this fair value gap. We weren't looking for anything going lower. We do not short at all-time highs. We said this buy side was too clean. Preferably, I would have liked to see that get cleaned out before 9:30. The buy side was taken out at exactly 9:30. That's not bad. First presented fair value gap. Okay, I said I'm looking for sell side in our opening range gap. Should we get beneath the first presented fair value gap? That's what I'm looking for to be confident in looking for lower prices. We did not get beneath it. Instead, we use it as support. No big deal. Trade up. NASDAQ continues to make higher highs. Okay. I said this breaker, I'm watching to see if we stay in the lower half of it. We did not. We talked about this fair value gap. If NASDAQ is truly bearish, this fair value gap should not be traded to. We'll completely overlap it. So that's telling us what is still bullish. Unwilling to trade down to the first presented fair value gap. That's showing signs of strength. It can't even get down there. Rallies, 3 down close candles. Candle opens here, trades down, hits it. It's also a breaker. We highlighted this breaker here. You have your low, high, lower low, last beefiest up close candle in between your two lows. Look at the bodies here with the fair value gap staying in the upper half here. London close macro is reasonable to see what a short-term low taken out before continuation. We talked about that before 1050 even arrived. Inversion fair value gap. Okay, when price was trading into it, it was already labeled as an inversion level. Slap on consequent encroachment, 3 down close candles is a bullish order block. What's the most sensitive price for order block? The opening price all the way to the high. Body staying inside of it, but more specifically, respecting consequent encroachment of the inversion fair value gap. Shutting down into this BISI. Man, this stuff is gold, I'm telling you. Trading down into this BISI, hitting consequent encroachment beautifully. I said it's better if we leave this fair value gap open, but if we trade down into it, we must leave the lower half open. If it's bullish, we get just that. Hello. And then NASDAQ runs over the people trying to short all-time highs and makes new record highs. Love y'all, man. This is fun. Join the Discord if you're not in there already. Hope to see you inside. Back live trading, pressing buttons. Yes, you'll see all of my executions real time. Yes, I lose, I win. I go on losing streaks, I go on winning streaks. The purpose of the live streams is not to pass your combine or whatnot. It's to learn how to read price so that way you can eventually go out and do it on your own. Leave a like, comment, subscribe. I had a lot of fun here. Discord members, we're back to business per usual tomorrow at 9:30. Love y'all. Be safe. Peace.